and welcome back to AustinPlus Commentary, where today we are doing a review on the Fantastic Four First Steps movie, released in July of 2025. Like characters and the impact it had overall on the MCU, its future, and the characters and interpretations we'll forever have on the Fantastic Four. It is truly fantastic. I'm not going to ramble on, so let's just get straight to it. Now, my selection for the best characters in this movie are actually a bit big, so this might go on for a while, but it's truly because they interpreted these characters to a T. First of all, the Thing was, it's an interpretation of the Thing that we've never had before. We've always had the Thing in such a depressed way because he's insecure about how he looks, like lost love, and then the way he is interpreted, people think he's a monster, and overall it's just he's usually like the dark and gloomy one of the group. But in this movie he was so accepting, he was such a nice character, and you kind of take away that rock side of him, and like the fact that he looks different, but he just is like a standard guy, and he's very nice. The Thing that we got in the Fantastic Four original films released in 2005, I think that was a very good character type as well, but this is by far another great Thing character. The next is Johnny Storm. Now, Johnny Storm has always been interpreted as the selfish, reckless, hothead, no pun intended, but he is truly a character that is like, he can come off as cocky, but he is still a stand-up guy. He knows when to take risks, and he knows how to help the team. Yes, the team kind of put him down because of these like stereotypes, and they are basically mentioned all in the movie. But the Human Torch, I think, with the whole Chris Evans playing him, that kind of set a tone for this for the future of the Fantastic Four and his role in it. But in this movie he really changed, and I think Joseph Quinn played him perfectly. Honestly, the whole cast of this movie is amazing. Franklin's just adorable. He is truly adorable, and in this movie, I'll quickly mention him now, he was an amazing character, and so was Herbie and Franklin. I consider a care package themselves, and I love them both. They are such nice. Like, I know Franklin's only a baby, but his impact on the whole story was just immense, and Herbie is just the best babysitter ever. With the likes of Reed Richards, we had an interpretation where he was a bit like, I will think of all the mathematical side before he will search into his emotional side. When I first watched this movie, it was one thing I really didn't like until I went to go and see it the second time. With Reed Richards, he was very he is the geeky type person you would expect. So I think they definitely do as they are a functioning couple with some sort of conflict, and you saw a fair bit of conflict in this movie, which is also why I think the Invisible Woman was an amazing character. And in this, you don't really see the Invisible Woman side of her. You see the Vanessa Kirby. And that doesn't actually bother me that much, because her character type is what I would assume Invisible Woman is in this situation, because bearing in mind this is the first interpretation we've ever had of Sue as a mother. So I get that protective side. I get that like fierce, and I want to protect my child. I completely get that. So all of that I completely agree with. I'll briefly talk about Charlotte Ball, because she was a different character. I know everyone was hoping for like the Norrin Rad version of Silver Surfer. Didn't bother me one bit, because she is exactly what I would expect from a Silver Surfer in the interpretations from reading the comics, the other movies. But all of the Silver Surfers come to realize that what they are doing is wrong, and so did Charlotte Ball. We got a little bit of backstory of how she sacrificed herself to become the herald to Galactus so that she spared her world. I think that like whole idea and showcase was amazing, and it gave her character more depth, which leads me to my last favorite character, which is Galactus. One thing I want to make it clear, guys, is Galactus is a Nexus being. For those who don't know, a Nexus being is a character that is the same character in all of the universes. So, all of the interpretations we've had of Galactus are all the exact same. The one in the original 2005 movie is the same one as this one. I can't get my head around that because they're all completely different. The Lego superhero thing is the same Galactus. It's so weird to me to think about that. But in this movie, we finally see the first live action proper version of Galactus, and he is absolutely phenomenal in all of his glory. Now, to top 5 scenes, I kind of knew this the first time I saw the trailer, which parts I would like. First one is it's actually the very beginning sequence of when they are introducing each of the members of the Fantastic Four in like this not cartoonish, but in an introductory thing for the Tel Gilbert show. For the first time, Human Torch absorbing heat, which is interesting, and then the Thing pulling the Titanic type sort of ship from the sea. That whole sequence is very 1960s. Now, I know there are a lot of people that didn't like this movie because of the 1960s thing. It didn't bother me. I think it's something that should have been overlooked to start with, because if you actually think about it, it takes place in the 1960s when Franklin was born. My next favorite scene is actually the very end scene when we see what was his name? Franklin. How did I forget? Franklin's first sign of powers when he resurrects Invisible Woman. Because I don't think some people didn't actually know this. Someone actually asked me about it because I'd seen it on opening day, but they asked me, how did Invisible Woman come back? I explained that Franklin has the ability to resurrect people with his powers, and that's what he did, because she was dead. And Franklin noticed that she was dead. His mutant senses were like, oh, she's not breathing. And that just tapped into his abilities to resurrect him, which is one of his core things in the comics. So this does make sense. My third favorite scene is when Galactus was, when we first introduced to Galactus, really. When they have come off their ship, they are now on Galactus's ship. And they meet him in his chair for the first time. When he comes straight down with his face and says you have overbearing power and all that, that was creepy, up close and personal, some may say. But the way they introduced him was so menacing, and I know it's a cinema, but damn, he was big. The one ick I have with it was because he is a being, or he is an Nexus being that basically is the size. He's not even the size of a planet. He is bigger than a whole planet. He is the celestial size. But in this movie, we don't see that. And that's one thing that annoyed me. But they didn't explain the fact that he can change sizes depending on the situation.
What?
My second favorite scene is when Human Torch plays these recordings in this town square, and Shalabal hears it. This is, well, as I said earlier, we find out about her origin and how she sacrificed herself to save her planet, and she became a herald to the Galactus to help him seek other planets to destroy or eat. In this scene, they talk about how Shalabal, her origin, and she gets frustrated. She's trying to forget, but then Human Torch tries to tell her this: you're doing the same thing to my planet. Why did you let this one go? And I completely get it. When she goes off into the sky, looks up at the moon, and then Human Torch comes up, the scene that really stuck with me, and this is why I think he's probably the best interpretation of the Human Torch we've ever had, is that he says, please take me and nephew. Completely forgot what I was trying to say, but let my nephew live. That was very impactful to me, and it's not a type of trait you would see from Johnny Storm. So that's why I really like about this version we've ever had ever. My last favorite scene, and I think people can probably understand this, is the very final scene. People say that this final thing was rushed. I do agree with that, but I think the whole idea of him coming to the Earth and causing basically mega havoc, but the fight scenes, the flight scenes, the movement of everything, it was incredible. And I think all of that accumulated, yes, it might have been rushed, but it was so cool. And we obviously got to see them work as a team, because this is probably the first time they all did work as a team throughout this whole movie. In the introductory sequence, we saw them work separately. In this movie, we saw like Reed do most of the stuff with a tiny bit of help from the others, while Thing was basically raising Franklin. Let's be honest, he was more of a parent than them two were.
Boom. Roasted.
Fantastic Four First Steps has made $385 million since its official release, which is nearly about a month.
Nice.
This movie made $117 million on opening weekend, which is 54.7% of the overall total gross. The production budget was $200 million for this movie, which I actually just check out with the whole like set design, the CGI, the costume design, and like obviously cost on actors. That checks out. I do believe that. The worldwide box office is 1.9 times the production budget, which is good, so it's nearly made double what it's supposed to. And considering this movie has been out for like not even a month, even as this is being reloaded, this movie makes $4,100 per theater.
What? What the fuck?
That's nuts. That's a lot of money. One major question is what is this movie's impact on the MCU? And I will explain this very briefly. This movie is hella important because it sets up Avengers Doomsday, which is one of regarding 2026 is probably highest anticipated movie behind The Odyssey by Christopher Nolan. But it sets up its story. It makes it amazing. We first see Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom, which I'll explain in a bit. But it sets up that. It sets up the concept for the Fantastic Four involvement. And it does bring things a bit more full circle. I want to read a couple of the positive ones, but I want to talk about like some of the bad ones as well, because I know when I went to go into these with my dad, I know he didn't like it, and he explained why. But I want to see what other people think about it as well. After a period of wavering interest in the MCU, Fantastic Four landed on the most anticipated film of the year, and it delivered one hell of a fantastic experience. Director brings a uniquely fresh, vibrant vision of the Marvel's first family, crafting a retro, futuristic. The cast is simply phenomenal. Pedro Pascal is Reed Richards, embodying the smartest man in the universe with an intimate conviction. Yes, I like this. Yep, I like this. Where does he speak about the Galactus? And then there's Galactus, voiced by Ralph Ineson. Experiencing an IMAX was paramount. He's easily the most visually stunning and impactful since Thanos. Yes. Alright, let's go to the 1 stars. Oh god. The film tries to play with quantum mechanics, time travel, and multiverse concepts, but utterly fails at even following its own logic.
I prefer really not to speak.
Okay, if you're looking into the science bit, that's just your thing, innit? The villain is supposedly powerful, yet struggles with the simplistic things and suddenly becomes weak whenever the plot needs him to be.
What the fuck is this? I don't know.
They follow them in one scene, then toss them aside in the next. I can name 2 scenes that do that, actually. Not only it was nonsense, it was bad nonsense. It felt like they made random decisions, tried to fit them in, then rewrote parts last minute without care. Okay, this person's making really good points. To make things worse, the movie has been painfully boring during the first half. Yeah, I can see that from both sides, though. Last thing to talk about is the post-credit scene that this movie presented. If you still haven't watched the movie yet, I would go and do that. Or if you've just seen like clips on TikTok and you think this is fake, it's not. Doctor Doom does make a slight cameo. You don't see his face, you just see his green cloak talking to Franklin. And in this scene, we are finally introduced to Doom, and I think this sets up Doomsday in a way that I think he is going to take Franklin, try and absorb his power, or because obviously he's at an age where he will probably know about his powers and try and suppress them. He will try and take them away, or take Franklin, and that ship at the end of the Thunderbolts movie was actually Franklin hit and Doctor Doom, but Doctor Doom stole the ship. That's what I think. But what did you think about the Doom setup theory? I know there's so many people that have different opinions, but let me know about yours. But without further ado, everyone, that is the end of today's video. I do hope you all enjoyed it, and if you did, please leave a like and subscribe and comment what else you would like to see on this channel. And without further ado, I hope you have an amazing day as always, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!
Yeah.